Jen, welcome to People in Legal.
Thanks for having me. I've been talking about this for a while.
I know, and I'm actually so stoked we can do this today.
Yeah, it's done very well.
It's awesome. How's the conference been?
It's been really good. I've had many people say that they felt this is the best Law Fest yet. So
Yeah,
hear that.
I would definitely agree. I mean, Andrew's done an amazing job of getting everyone here, and good. I've heard great things as well.
Yeah, good turnout for sure.
So, I'd love to actually dive into get introduction from you to our audience. Number one, and number two, talk about your story because you've got a really good story to tell in the whole legal tech frame.
Yeah, well, I actually moved to Australia about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I'd always been in sales and technology, but my whole thing with moving to a new country was I just wanted to be in a job that I was happy at, and I didn't really care what that was. And so I was very open to that being kind of anything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a funny story because I did some planning on a trip over and I saw this job that was like technology, event planning. And you know what, I'm just going to reach out, see if that's something that might be of interest. And ironically, it was the company that does Legal Tech and Innovation Fest. And he said, we just hired for that role, but I actually had a vendor who said that they were looking for a good salesperson. So I got connected with Paul, who was previously the first on-the-ground rep at NetDocuments.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And worked together with him for a few years. And he ended up moving to a different role, and I had an opportunity to kind of work with every different role within the region, but really just kind of build the region from the ground up.
Yeah.
At that point, we didn't have a region here. And so we've had a lot of growth, and it's a very, over the past 8 years, we are doing some great things. So,
I mean, your team's just grown and you've got lots of clients on board around, and just not in Australia and New Zealand, but in Asia as well. So you've actually taken some great partnerships.
Yep, definitely. So we have a lot of momentum in all different areas of Asia Pacific. So a lot of great things happening in Singapore. Here in New Zealand has been a really awesome market for us. So there's been a lot of adoption. I think from 2018, a lot of people started moving to the cloud. And so we've been really engaged with a lot of clients here as well.
So what is the secret to your success?
To my success, or to NetDocuments?
To what you've done in this job in growing everything?
It's definitely, not something that I can take credit for. I would say that, as soon as I started with NetDocuments, I was just blown away with the caliber of people at the company. Yeah. And I was immediately just bought into the passion.
Yeah.
And it was something that I felt like I could be on board with. And so it was just something that happened organically. I think that it's really important to be authentic. You have to believe in what you're doing. I thought the product was really cool. At the time, it wasn't as sexy as it is now. It was mainly just document management. And I thought it was really cool that NetDocuments is actually the first content management platform in the cloud.
Yeah.
Is something that is really cool. And so we've come a long way since then. But the beauty about NetDocs is that because we've always been in the cloud, all of our hundreds of thousands of users globally are on the exact same version of the service and the platform, which really gives us an advantage in this rapidly changing pace of innovation. So it's a very exciting time with generative AI and automation, all those things.
And I guess what is there a trend in terms of what firms are actually taking NetDocuments on or around the regions?
I mean, AI is at the forefront of everything now. So we have something called the Legal AI Assistant, which is having a really great uptake. It's brand new and it's very exciting. I think that there's a huge advantage in bringing AI to your content instead of bringing your content to AI. So just keeping that simple for lawyers and figuring out how it can be practical in their everyday workflows is key.
Awesome. And is there a client story or a story about how that's actually impacted like a firm's life, like people in the firm's lives, made it better?
I think that we are at a place now where we're starting to see the results of that. What I've seen is that 2023, there was a lot of hype around AI. 2024, a lot of people were questioning, is this exactly what we expect it to be? Is it really, is that hype real?
Yep.
And 2025 is something I'm super excited about because I think the legal profession has really taken the last couple of years to figure out how can we implement this in a way that can impact our clients, impact the work that we're doing. And there's a lot of, substance around the fact that lawyers obviously went to that profession for a reason.
Yep.
There's a why there, right? They want to do something meaningful. They want to help people. It's interesting if you look at kind of people that have a law degree, people that actually stay in the profession, because I think that a lot of times you see people kind of be like, oh, there's a lot of mundane work that I don't necessarily enjoy doing, and maybe something's better suited, but I do want to still help people. And what we're seeing now with this level of tech is that we can kind of automate some of those things, take them away to where that deep thinking, that meaningful work that will actually help people. How do you impact the community? It's something they can get back to doing. And I think that that's just really exciting. So I'm, really looking forward to seeing kind of where we go in 2025.
Oh, I totally agree. Look, as a consumer of legal services, I mean, one of the things that I love is when I've got more sort of FaceTime with my lawyer and talking about the really important things versus drafting documents and getting efficiencies in I mean, really, at the end of the day, I've got the document, but I value their advice and talking to them as well. So I guess any tools that give them more time to talk to me and work with me, that's even better.
Yeah. And if you look at just the practice of law, it was literally built on words. Yeah. So a large language model changes that dramatically. Yeah. And the things that I think lawyers have gotten accustomed to, you got to put in the hard work. You start as, a junior lawyer or paralegal, and you got to put in that time and you got to do that. That's shifting. And I think that there's probably an element of like people feeling guilty, like, oh, like I'm not doing the real work, the hard work if I'm not doing that. But I think that we're getting to a place now where we realize that if a computer or technology can do something for you, absolutely let it, because there's way more meaningful use of your time. And that's what makes you great at what you do.
I totally agree. I guess, what do you sort of hearing, like in terms of trends at the conference or conversations at the conference so far, what are you hearing people talk about? What's on their minds?
I think that a lot of people are asking, okay, so we're seeing that this is obviously something that's here to stay. Like, I think that the whole concept of generative AI as a buzzword is going away, right? Yep. Like, this is just something that's going to be a part of our everyday lives, not just in legal, but just in general. So, maybe similar to how when the internet first, people were trying to understand it. Now it's just like, no one talks about that because that's the baseline.
That's right.
So that's absolutely a direction that we're going. So people are kind of trying to understand what's the future. How do we buy the right technology? And there's so many different solutions out there that it can be overwhelming.
There are.
So I actually think it's an interesting analogy. If you remember when we had cable back in the day, you paid a subscription or a certain amount, you had a cable bill, all your channels, sports was there. And then eventually we moved to streaming services. And you're like, oh, this is great. I can do Netflix and it's, $10 a month. And then all of a sudden, you need KO for the sports and you need this and that. And so I think that it'd be very interesting to ask people, do you actually know how many subscriptions you have right now? And like what you're paying for it? Because it gets out of control. I personally do not know, because you end up just doing this free trial and this and that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I do watch that every now and then. But basically, it can be something that becomes complex. So if you can find a solution with a vendor that you trust already, that you're already incorporated and it's in your workflow and your practice. If you can leverage their AI tools, I would recommend starting there, not only for long-term success, but just because instead of having to go out for a solution for every little thing, you want to make sure you have something that is going to encompass a lot and make it simple and straightforward for your users as well as financially.
I mean, having AI built inside of like a DMS, that sort of stuff just makes so much sense.
Right. I mean, it's literally a game changer and interact and even semantic search and things like that. I mean, the amount of time and how far we've come and the technology that's available now, it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, thank you. I'm so happy we actually chatted today. That sort of stuff's been a while in making it, but we're here finally. Fantastic. So enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.